if it's okay if you. Thank you. Make sure we grab it for those that may be back in action already and not here with us on this Friday morning. So, oh, look, we're number 70, number 70 of our Connect and Share sessions for another Friday morning. So I'm Laurie Mode, your CEO of the Outdoors New South Wales and ACT organisation. We have Leslie Bowen with us, who's our marketing officer. And we also have Helen Cooper, our project officer, who is managing a program which you'll hear a little bit more about as we get through today. But before we jump into the main content, I'd love to acknowledge our traditional owners of the lands of which we all meet today. I come from Darug and Gurungai country, and I pay my respects to all elders past, present and future. And may that we work together to understand the lands as best as they do and interpret that for our visitors and our participants of our activities. So let's get into a bit of a summary of what's changed this week or what's available for you all. And goodness knows there is a lot going on. So first and foremost, I wanted to bring to your attention some new resources that are on our website. Now, you might know that we have two websites running at the moment. That is our existing website, which is the .com.au site. We are transitioning everything over to a brand new site. So we have two going at the moment. So you've got double the access and double the opportunity. But very soon we'll roll everything over into the one. But this website here is the one that we are building at the moment, has quite a lot of content that's coming every day, every week. And thanks to our climate change committee, we have some climate change resources there. So if you are a business or an activity or an organisation that is looking to look at your climate change contribution and your mitigation or adaptation around climate change, well, we have some resources in the library for you. So you can see on the screen there, you can go through the climate change committee, or you can go through the employer resources, I should say, and look at some of the opportunities there. So you can see on the the right-hand side, the blue buttons there. The top one is the Ecotourism Climate Action Certification, and that'll take you straight through to have a look at that opportunity and make sure that you could be accredited in this area. The second one is the Small to Medium Enterprise Climate Hub. And the third one is your carbon neutral calculator. So this is an opportunity for you to measure how you can be carbon neutral as an organisation. So some great tools, and thank you again to our climate change subcommittee for the work that they are doing for us. Another reminder, as we get close to the closure of this survey, we've had an outstanding response, which is really great. But like any survey, the power of the numbers really makes the data worthwhile. So if you are familiar with anyone that is in the trail bike community, you participate in trail bike activities yourself, we ask you to contribute to this survey. It's going to help us understand a little bit more about the habits of trail bike riders and what they give back to the communities that they travel through or go to when they're conducting their activities. Very important content that will help build substantial understanding of the value of trail bike riding. Study Work Grow Partnership. I am so pleased to be involved with this organisation. They are amazing. If you're not subscribed to their emails, these are emails that years 10, year 11, year 12 actually look at receiving every week to give them ideas about careers. Give them thoughts about courses that they can take to get to the careers they want, but also opportunities of employment. So we're establishing a bit of a partnership around an information webinar. And this is purely around the outdoors industry. And I'm really excited about this because I think we can set a platform of saying you can be successful in the outdoors, you can have a career in the outdoors, and try to help some of these kids in discovering the opportunities that we have in our industry. So we're just working on the date. We'll solidify that soon, but that's sort of where we're heading with this. And we are so pleased to have the backing of Study Work Grow. We'll work in partnership to deliver this, and also with our workforce development team, which came to you a couple of weeks ago through the New South Wales government. They said that they'll be able to help promote this for us to all the schools. So great opportunity. We'll have 4 speakers from the industry, which will talk on different opportunities and career paths, and then a Q&A. So when that comes to light, we'll certainly be recording that, and I'll be able to share that recording with you, and you can use in your own circles in promoting the industry. So just a reminder on the Work Outdoors side of things, as Outdoors New South Wales and ACT, we have a few platforms that we use. Now, as we get back to work, no doubt already started to see it, there's jobs out there on offer. And we know that our capacity is quite limited right now, and we need to get back into our full capacity and get our staff numbers back up. So if you're advertising for positions, if you're advertising for traineeships, if you're wanting casuals, whatever the case may be, please make sure you keep us informed. We have a great growing Facebook page called Work in the Outdoors in New South Wales and ACT. It's getting an average around 6,000 views every day. And on the Instagram page as well. So that's only brand new, not too many followers yet, but we'll start building that for you as well and tapping into some of the opportunities that we could deliver through to your ads and to your applications. The Study Work Grow newsletters. So as I said, the partnership there have allowed us to send them some of the jobs that are on offer, and they can include them in their weekly newsletters. And as some of you have already known through your meetings with Workforce Development, there is the tailored solution to help fill those roles for you through the partnership we've established with the New South Wales Government and the Department of Education and Training. Last week, I was lucky enough to get onto Ticker News and promote the industry and the career path that is the outdoors. So if you want to have a look at that, you can certainly see that on our socials or on our website. But let's spread the word. This is a great industry for many career options, and now's the time to start getting our people into harnesses and into canoes and everything else. So there's a snapshot of our Facebook page, sorry, our website and the area of careers in the outdoors. That's the Facebook page, the Instagram page, and obviously the tools that are available through the website, which include the videos that you can share. And I know some of you have already reached out and asked us to badge these tools with your logos, which we have done, and we encourage you to share them widely as well. On Monday, other than being Freedom Day, we also have an annual general meeting for the organisation. So Outdoors New South Wales and ACT will be holding its AGM at 6 p.m. on Monday. We do ask that if you wanted to attend, so we ensure that we have members present, that you register, and you can do that through the events section on our website. So if you go to that URL there, it'll be on the main page a little bit down the bottom, and you can RSVP for our AGM. You'll hear about all the activities that we've been doing in the last year, and also understand a little bit about what we've got planned for the next year ahead, and also partake in the formalities that are, of course, an annual general meeting. Monday. Okay, so we know 70% we're done, 80% not far away. But at the moment, fully vaccinated people can go out for a walk at work, leisure or recreation, and travel within their designated area. So that's either Greater Sydney or regional New South Wales. Still can't cross those borders of regional New South Wales and Greater Sydney just yet, but that will happen at 80%. And as you would have heard this week, the Premier also announced some changes, including increase of friends in households and gathering outdoors. The other thing to note is that masks will be required for all staff and customers in all indoor settings, but masks are no longer required in outdoors. Now, I just want to stress at this point that these are the public health orders. These are what is to be perceived as the bare minimum. I do encourage a lot of our industry to then use that as the bare minimum, but also cater for your own COVID safe plan. And if that means wearing masks outdoors, or if it's doing other things that you think are going to prevent the spread of COVID and transmission of COVID, I would urge you to do so. So again, the public health orders are the bare minimum, and that's what you should definitely implement, because there'll be fines imposed if you don't, but increase that to make sure that you are preparing for the best risk management process you can, and when it comes to COVID. The other things to note is that you need to comply with the 1 per 4 square metre rule until we get to the 80%, sorry, until we get to the 1st of December, and then it goes down to the 1 per 2 square metre rule. We might have some time for some more further drilling on this after our presentations today. So if you've got any questions in relation to this, I'll urge you to stay back after our brief presentations and we can go through them. But Leslie's got these links which she'll be able to put into the chat for you as opposed to you madly writing them down. But these are the links that are very handy. So Monday's roadmap, obviously the education advice at the current time is still level 3. That means that schools are not permitted to do excursions. They're not permitted to have external visitors. And we are trying to work with the government to see what the roadmap looks like to allow us to get to a level 2 and a level 1. The public health orders legislation link there, the ACT roadmap, which is following a lot of what New South Wales is doing. And the most important part for your own business sake is the grant tapering. And that is that the grants will be sliding back and completing by the 30th of November. You would have seen all of this in the newsletters that we've been sending in the last couple of weeks. So just on that tapering, that is the outline of what's going to be happening. So as of Monday, the share of payroll goes down to 30%, and when it gets to 80%, it will go down to 15%, and all the grants through New South Wales will be done by the 30th of November. There is a new accommodation grant, and you would have seen that in this week's newsletter. If you had accommodation booked in the July school holidays and had it cancelled because of the public health orders, there is, depending on how many rooms you have, $2,000 on offer or a $5,000 amount on offer. So follow the links in your newsletter and you will be able to apply for that. The ACT business grants closed yesterday. So I hope all our ACT operators got in there and got the grants that were available for them for COVID. And did I put that slide? Yes, I did. Good. The federal grants I need to touch on. And this, guys, I think everyone's just been saying as soon as we get to 70, they finished. Actually, no, they don't finish. If you have staff that are on the disaster payment, the 750, you do have to reapply. If they are still affected by no work or reduced work, they can continue to apply up until the state gets to the 80%. So this is obviously for the next few weeks. So make sure if the staff are still losing hours or not back in work, that they reapply for their disaster payment to get those extra couple of weeks before we hit the 80%. And just another reminder around this infographic, which we partnered with ACA and CVA to ensure that we're communicating the lesser risk in travelling and doing the camp outdoor education opportunity instead of the schools existing and going to their own campuses. This is a great piece that you can send to your local members, and you would have seen again in the newsletter that we've supplied this with templates to help our local members understand this and advocate on our behalf to the government on looking at outdoor education as an opportunity sooner rather than later. So if you've got any questions on that, or you're not too sure how to help us in that advocacy, please give me a call and we will certainly direct you in the right way. The events that are coming up, as we said, the AGM is on Monday. On Friday the 15th at our Connect and Share, we have Riley from QTs coming along. Thursday the 29th is the date we're hoping to lock in for our Work in the Outdoors webinar for schools. And we'll have a Halloween special on the 30th of October for those that like to get involved in some of those festivities. Friday the 5th, we have Defence and the Outdoors, a great guest speaker coming to us to talk about the linkage between defence and what we do in this industry. And Friday the 10th of December will be our Christmas party. I cannot believe we're talking about Christmas parties already, but there you have it. So 10th of December, we will have a bit of a celebration for the year that was. So I'm going to hand over to our program coordinator, Helen, who's going to give you a little bit of an update on where we're going with the Youth Resilience Program. So Helen, I might hand over to you.
There we go. unmute myself first is always helpful. Hi everyone, I'm Helen. I come from Bidjigal and Gadigal land. So hi to everyone out there. And I've been in the industry for about over 20 years. And I noticed Annette Lee, Nettie, is on the meeting as well. She was one of my first trainers back in the day. And Paul Colajuri, he and I have also worked together over the years. So it's great to see people from the industry who've been in it for a long time through these tough times still here. So good to see you guys. And I know it is tough in the industry at the moment. So, you know, my best regards go out to everyone who's sort of struggling out there and trying to kind of see a way forward. But this program that I'm about to share with you is about providing that opportunity for young people in regional New South Wales. So can you see my screen there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've put together this little website which sort of outlines the program. And what the program is, it came out of the back of the 2019 bushfires, and it's a joint funding agreement between the state and federal government to get in 12 bushfire affected areas in regional New South Wales. So I'll get down to the details of the program later, but it's funded through Resilience New South Wales and administered by Outdoors New South Wales. So just in terms of the program, the aim of it is to increase resilience in young people so that in further, you know, crises or challenges in their lives, they'll be more able to cope with those difficult circumstances. And I guess through participating, I'm going to show you how we've sort of set it out so that it makes sense to both schools and providers to apply to become program partners. So if we go on to the next part of the web page, so if people in one of the 12 locations are from a school or community group, then they can sort of come to this website and see what they can then provide for their young people. So one part of it is after school activities, and that's 4 weeks of one afternoon a week, and providing a range of different activities, whatever is appropriate to their area. Could be anything from surfing, skateboarding, dance, not necessarily sport, because Sport New South Wales also received a grant to provide that part of the program. So it's not sort of providing things like football or soccer or anything like that. It's specifically kind of outdoor focused activities. And obviously if the location isn't on the coast, they won't be able to offer things like surfing, but they will be able to offer things like kayaking or canoeing or something else water-based, even swimming. And yeah, the aim is just to get kids from those locations outdoors and active. And the second part of it is school holiday camp. So it's providing a 4-day camp, and it can either be a kind of camping-based camp, centre-based, or depending on what the young people want or need, it could also be non-residential, so doing 4 full days of activities in the locations. And again, it's activities like hiking, cycling, could be journey-based or centre-based, depending on the age group and what's available in the location. And the funding provides an all-inclusive program, which is funded through us, and then each provider has to then use that funding to provide all the components of the program. So back to kind of applying through schools. I know I'm sort of jumping all over the map. Anyone who knows me knows that that's fairly normal. And these are the 12 locations that Outdoors New South Wales has the funding to provide these camps and activity programs for. So the Blue Mountains, Hawkesbury area, Oberon, Lake Macquarie, Dungog, Port Macquarie, Lithgow, Singleton, Tweed, Nambucca, Mid Coast and Clarence Valley. So we're going to be targeting schools and community groups in those areas to get, up to 100 kids in each location on the school holiday program and the after school activities. So then because most of us here are activity providers, if we go back to the activity provider side of things, then this again outlines what the program looks like. And we will be running the pilot program in terms 1 and 2 next year. And that one program will be in Lithgow and the other one will be in Laurieton, which is in the Port Macquarie LGA. And again, it sort of outlines here what each provider would need to provide for each of the different components. And if there's a provider in a particular location that can provide both after school activities and school camps, then that's fantastic. But we're really looking for a local approach to stimulate the local businesses and to kind of hook the businesses up with the young people for the long term. So with the after school activities, the aim is for the providers to become active kids providers. And then after the funding ceases with the 4 weeks of after school activities, then they can use active kids vouchers ongoing to provide that activity again down the track. So this, what we've sort of outlined here is what it takes to become a provider and how you can become eligible to provide the camps and activities. So one is being connected within that community. And again, it's those 12 locations. Being registered and child safe. So, it's just a standard part of the protocol in our industry, but have sort of outlined some of the some of the ways of attaining that, because in those locations, some of the businesses may not, they may not have that yet. So this is, I guess, a bit of a roadmap for businesses to attain all the necessary insurance, registrations, etc. Sorry, I'll just go back again to, there we go. So, and we also are keen to work with and really get more businesses becoming Outdoors New South Wales ACT members. So that's, I guess, another one of the criteria, so we can become a body that speaks for the whole industry in regional and metropolitan parts of the state and territory. And again, this sort of outlines how to become an active kids provider. And then each provider, if they think they've got what it takes, then there's a sort of a form where each provider can apply and outline what they can offer and any other details. So has anybody got any questions about the program or about locations or anything at all?
Alison was just asking about the South Coast, and Alison, just as I put in the chat, we actually applied for the 3 regions, which was Greater Sydney and the Hunter, North Coast and South Coast. I think as South Coast was the hardest hit by the bushfires, that had a huge amount of applications. So on the basis that we're successful in 2 of them, yeah, I think we weren't successful with the South Coast one, unfortunately. But in saying that, Officer Sport are doing some magnificent things down there. So if you are interested in being part of a similar program on the South Coast, we'll certainly hook you up with the guys that are running the program down there. And I'm just looking online, and particularly Jeffrey, from Scouts perspective, we know that Scouts is one of those massive opportunities that could hook up with this program for the after school and getting them into that network. So we'll talk to you about the relevant people in the North Coast area.
And I have already, just while you've been speaking, forwarded that on to the link onto some relevant people.
Good job.
Excellent.
Yeah,
that's good. Sorry, that's my dog.
Great. Any other questions from anyone for Helen on the program? It's certainly shaping up to be an awesome communication tool and getting just kids out and being part of active recreation versus, as Helen said, sport. So another opportunity to get people participating in the outdoors and getting a bit of routine in their life of active rec. No more questions. Thank you, Helen. That's great. Great overview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
And thanks for the opportunity, and thanks Laurie and Leslie for all your hard work. You've done a lot to make this happen. So thank you.
No, thank you. It's great to have the financial backing to be able to do this sort of thing, because you don't want to see that. I think it's great that there's so much that we can do, but getting that financial assistance just makes it so much better. So thanks to Resilience New South Wales. Great. What we'll do now is jump to Rebecca. So Rebecca's with us, and she can certainly jump in and share her screen and take us for a bit of an update, Rebecca, on where you've been since we've been in lockdown.
Yeah, we haven't been far. Let me just bring this up. Perfect. Can everyone see that okay? That's all good. Can everyone see the screen okay?
Yes.
Yeah, all good. Brilliant. So it's been a while actually since we've jumped on to give you guys a bit of an update from Take 3 for the Sea. So for those of you that haven't met me before, my name is Rebecca Dawes. I'm the tourism manager here for Take 3 for the Sea, working on a first wave project. A quick bit of a background with this project. So we applied for funding with the EPA at the end of last financial, or the end of last year. We were successful in our grant application, and the project came into fruition at the start of this year with Take 3 for the Sea. And our main kind of project aim was to really inform and inspire the New South Wales tourism industry to help tackle the big litter problem that we see all over Australia and all over New South Wales. But more so, I guess, within the tourism industry and what a huge influx of all those visitors have on New South Wales. So I guess what we're really looking at doing is also introducing litter awareness. And one of our biggest outcomes of this project is to provide resources and tools for tourism operators to encourage behaviour change within the sector. And again, so we're funded by the EPA Waste Less Recycle More initiative, funded from the Waste Levy. So we have 3 main components to our project that we've been working on since April this year. The first of those was a survey that we actually sent out to all of Outdoors New South Wales ACT members back in April. This was great for us. We got a lot of really, I guess, great insights into the industry. It was really a data collection for us in terms of litter behaviours, what types of litter is there across all different types of industries and sectors, and also locations around New South Wales. So that gave us a really good baseline as to where we're at as an industry, and also how we can then focus our kind of activities for the rest of the year, especially that resource tool, the toolkit at the end, to best fit, you know, where we kind of seen some of these key issues coming from. So once that was completed, we did start off with our workshops. We were really great. We got one in before our COVID restrictions kicked in, and then unfortunately we've had to move the remaining face-to-face workshops online, which is what I'm on here to talk to you guys a little bit about today. So we're going to now move over to some online smaller focus groups. We've done a trial of those, and that seemed to work quite well with a few operators a few weeks ago. So we're moving ahead with those. Incredible timing, given that now it's Freedom Day on the 11th, and we're all potentially going to be able to be coming out and doing these types of things. They did just take a while to get up and running. And then the final piece of this project is really about this toolkit. So it's really kind of resource packed. It's something that's going to be launching at the end of the year once we've completed all of our focus groups. We've got also the framework for our litter prevention strategy that we're currently putting together and in draft form at the moment. That's also going to be finalised by the end of the year. And that's coming in, from comments and suggestions as well from Laurie from Outdoors ACT, New South Wales and ACT, and also our other partners, which is National Parks and Wildlife Service. So that's all shaping up really nicely, and the toolkit will hopefully be launching online on our Take 3 for the Sea website at the end of the year. So I guess just really quickly wanted to touch, on a couple of the survey results that we had, just to give you a bit of a snapshot of the type of information that we were looking for and the data that we collected. Just gives you a bit of an overview of where within the sector of where we were seeing the survey respondents come from. A lot of those other responses were actually from outdoor education providers, which was great. So we saw most of those responses in that other section all coming from this industry. So it was great to have a really varied response rate across the whole industry. So 83% of all respondents think that the tourism industry does have a litter problem, which was really good for us to see that people, we are acknowledging that there is an issue out there and that everybody is really keen to jump on board and do something about it, which is fantastic for us moving forward with this project. We see litter occurring in, kind of various different seasons during peak periods in certain areas of operation. COVID has also made a really big impact on that as well. We saw some data coming through that there were some operators that saw no change to the litter in their local area of business, and others that saw a larger increase. They obviously had a lot more domestic visitors airing, or a lot of new visitors coming in there, given that over the last 18 months we haven't been able to travel overseas or potentially not even around our state. And then we also saw other areas of operation that saw a decrease in litter that were predominantly had international visitors into their regions. So it was a really mixed bag, but it gave us kind of the information to then go out and to be able to tailor specific information to those particular types of regions based on that visitor type or that visitor demographic. So again, this is what I was just saying, COVID definitely had an impact on litter loads, some positive and some negative, which was really interesting to see. Most common types of litter, this was pretty, expected for us: plastic bottles, food wrappers, packaging. Another thing that we didn't really see come from this survey, but I think we might moving forward, is some of those items that we've had to go back to using again. So obviously your disposable coffee cups, a lot of businesses were only having those available during COVID. Also face masks is a big one. So I think we're going to see an increase of that, come into effect over the next 6 to 12 months. And just why do we think people litter? So a lot of one was just for apathy, can't find a bin, and it's somebody else's problem. So really just not taking that responsibility and that onus. And again, it could come across from a couple of the suggestions we're having, different types of visitors. So a lot of international visitors, they have potentially a different mindset around the environment or about litter reduction or about rubbish. And so certainly not having that sense of pride within their particular area where they're visiting. So the next part of this project is what we're really excited for, is to jump on and do some online focus group sessions. So I've got a couple of dates up on here for you, and I can certainly pass these on to Laurie as well afterwards. Elle, feel free to give me an email and I can send you some more information. But it's essentially an hour and 15 minutes.
They're in this week's newsletter, so they've got.
Oh, they were. Oh, brilliant! Thanks, Laurie. It's an hour and 15 minutes, we're going to jump online. We've got a couple of really quick presentations that we're just going to do about the project. We're also going to do a quick rundown of some of the litter prevention factors, and then it's going to be kind of passed over a bit of an information sharing session between operators and ourselves at Take 3 about litter reduction and some actions that we can put forward, and have a bit of a brainstorm around some things that we can do moving forward. And from our trial that we had the other week, it was a fantastic session. That's, you know, a few of the operators, kind of one operator was doing one thing and another had kind of an issue of their own, and just by that collaboration they were then able to turn around and say, actually, that, you know, that particular signage, or if we could potentially work with a different recycler on that side of the business, it would really help them with their litter reduction. So those are the types of conversations that we're having, and we're seeing operators are really getting a lot out of these sessions. So we've got 6 coming up over the next 3 weeks, the next one being next Monday, and then we've got a few other sessions after that, so every Monday and every Wednesday. The first week's sessions, we are targeting Port Stephens operators, and then the second week it'll be those in the Blue Mountains region, and then the last 2 sessions were for all of New South Wales operators. However, in saying that, if you can't make a particular session, please feel free to register for any of the other weeks. Where obviously, you know, the more the merrier, and we would love to have as many operators on board. So yeah, definitely feel free to jump in on one of those sessions, even if you're not within that particular region. And if you'd like the registration link, please send me an email. And as Laurie said, they were in the last newsletter, and we would really love to see your faces all on there, so that we can try and come up with a solution to a really big problem that we have coming up.
Awesome. Thanks, Rebecca. I was just having
Guys.
if anyone was on the line that was at the last one, and no, Sam, it was only Brian Litchie was there, but yeah, it was a great workshop, and I think the conversations that happen at these workshops are where the value comes from.
Yeah.
As well, even though, you know, behind the scenes Rebecca's collecting data and getting content.
Always.
It's really an opportunity to connect with others, and particularly if you're either in the tourism industry or you're wanting to step into more of the tourism side of things, then great opportunity for everyone to be part of. Jot those down and email Beck with your requests, and no doubt you'll send them the links, and
definitely
click the register button on the newsletter, which I had in this week's.
Thanks, Laurie. And I have to run too. So thanks again for inviting me on today, Laurie. It was really awesome, and thank you. And a great program, Helen, as well. That's going to be fantastic. Well done to everyone.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye, guys.
Great.
Bye.
So now, if I thought I'd just close off the recording there, and Helen, would you mind sticking the link in for the Youth Resilience Program?